Well, Taban Shoresh survived genocide in Iraq back in 1986. She was 4 years old when she and her family were nearly buried alive by Saddam Hussein's soldiers. Taban is now a director for Rwanda Foundation. That's an NGO that is working on the ground in Iraq and delivering aid to Yazidis stranded on Mount Sinjar. She joins us now via Skype from Erbil, Iraq. I want to get to the work that you're doing now, but by way of context and its important perspective, what you and your family went through back in those dark days under Saddam Hussein when he committed such atrocities, how does that factor into what you're doing now?
It was a big driving force for me to come back here and do what I'm doing now. My experiences in my childhood have had a lasting impact, and I've always wanted to give back or help in some way. And setting up a comfortable life in London was great, but when the humanitarian crisis happened here and I heard about Rwanda Foundation, it felt natural for me to come back and help the people, the vulnerable people. There are so many displaced people here that desperately need our help.
Yeah, of course, what we're talking about was, Anfal and Halabja and the gassing of thousands of Kurdish civilians by Saddam Hussein. And when you look at what's happening now, and I know that you've been up, if I'm not mistaken, you've been up on the mountain doing those helicopter drops there. What did you see?
It was heartbreaking to see what I saw. When they say the conditions aren't bad, it is. You know, these people are stuck on a mountain. The mountain's hemmed by ISIS. They can't come down in fear of being killed. If the only way out is roughly a 9 to 10 hour walk in the heat with no water or food, I think that's quite hard for anyone to do. And when we went there and we actually saw what conditions they were in, and as soon as the helicopter landed, they all rushed to get onto the helicopter for safety. The first thing they grasped for was water. They are thirsty, they're dehydrated, they're starving. Most of them didn't have shoes, and it's because of the terrain in the mountains. They're all sunburnt, so the conditions are bad. It's a terrible thing what they escaped first of all, what ISIS was doing to their loved ones in their towns and villages, then what they went through on Mount Sinjar, another humanitarian crisis. But what strikes me, and we were talking to Anna Corrin on the border there earlier, and you look at even once they're off and quote unquote safe off that mountain, my goodness, what they have in front of them is just more humanitarian crisis, isn't it? The humanitarian crisis is incredible. I can't stress the strain on in the neighbouring areas. We have at least 400,000 people displaced. They're going to cities where it's not built for that many people. So the cities, the villages are automatically just overcrowded. When you go through and drive through the cities and the villages, you can see people on the streets. It's clearly evident there is a humanitarian crisis, and Rwanda Foundation we're doing as much as we can to help the Yazidis, the Christians, the Syrian refugees. We are doing our bit by delivering basic essential aids in terms of food, water, diapers, mattresses, and a lot more.